much for sharing that with us.
Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So we have a question and a couple comments that came through, but is there anything you want to say before we jump into that?
Sure. I just, again, want to thank everybody today who joined us. And of course, everyone in Western New York sponsors people like, University Express, M&T Bank, the Cullen Foundation, ASI. So many people during this pandemic have just been so positive and so wonderful and continuing their support and love for Shakespeare and Delaware Park. And we can't thank people enough because, without supporters like that and audience members and folks like you, when we would pass the hat in the summer, we wouldn't have been here for 45 years here in Western New York. So we were just so happy to be able to share something with you this year.
Well, thank you. We're honored to be a part of this with you. So some of the comments we had a person that has a soft spot for Much Ado.
Great show.
And so this is actually a couple-part question that we have. So the first part was, how is directing this different than in person?
Well, we're going to go to Grace for that because, again, Grace has just joined us back in Western New York. She's originally from here and came back a few days before the pandemic hit. And her job was going to be education community outreach. So this was a show that she was supposed to be directing live, which is still going to be live, but I would love to hear her insight on how this has been to direct via Zoom, Grace.
Absolutely. So that's a great question, and it's a two-part answer. The first I'll address is rehearsing via Zoom and then directing to tailor a show to a Zoom performance because, like Lisa was saying, the intention was a live show, which will still be happening later on. However, we had to alter it a little bit to bring it to a Zoom performance as well. Creating a virtual rehearsal room has been a very interesting challenge, both as a director and the performers. I've talked to them about it as well. A lot of the collaboration and idea, fruition in a rehearsal room really relies on that in-person interaction. And, when you're in a rehearsal space, a physical room, you sometimes are working through lines and being in the room and with the other people in that room and, working off of what they're feeling and the energy of the space, that really helps to create a lot of the ideas. So that's cut off when you're looking at a camera screen on your computer. It creates a very removed feeling. And so the actors have had to actively and consciously continue to remind themselves that even though they can't see their scene partners, they have to keep, portraying that emotion, which is sometimes difficult. But the 4 actors we have are incredibly talented. They're all professional local actors, and they did a wonderful job with it. The second part of the answer to that question is tailoring our rehearsal process to a Zoom performance. That's been challenging for the actors because something they don't receive that usually helps them during a performance is the audience reaction. So if there was a funny bit, you may have been laughing at home watching it on your computer, but they don't hear that. And that was something they struggled with the first day because something that really, really helps with acting is when you do something funny, you get that response because that propels you to keep going with the humor. Or if there's, a serious dramatic moment, hearing that pause in the audience or sometimes hearing a gasp or something like that, that continues to propel you as well. So it's been a very unique challenge that Shakespeare and Delaware Park, but also a lot of theaters across the country and across the world have been dealing with right now. That being said, it's been a fantastic process, and it's always good to stretch those artistic muscles. So it's been a lot of fun.
Oh, wow. So the second part to that was, how long did it take to practice this to get up and running?
And we'll let Grace answer that again. We were also lucky we had a great author, William Shakespeare, and Brendan Didio, who some of you from University Express might have known as well. He helped put this show together, and then Grace can tell how long they've been rehearsing.
Sure thing. We've been rehearsing once a week for about 2 hours, and we've been doing that for, I'd say, probably a month and a half now. Yeah, a month maybe. Yeah. So it's been numerically, it's probably been about like 7 rehearsals. And within those rehearsals, we've done everything from group scene work to sometimes the beauty of Zoom is we can call people in at certain times and have them wait in a waiting room, and then we can let them in, and so we can do individual scene work. So that's been really nice. But it hasn't been a terribly long rehearsal process because it's 45 minutes. Because we're only rehearsing, the top half of our bodies right now. We will have to add in some more rehearsals once we move into a live performance mindset. But yeah, it's been fun, and it hasn't been that long.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting for the actors and directors. Probably a week and a half or 2 weeks from now, they will get to see each other again as we're putting all of our safety protocols in place. And Grace, again, has been working with them, even the staging. We're lucky because we're going to be in an outside space. But the staging of it that Grace is working on is also to keep the actors right now at a safe 6 feet distance from each other. And luckily, this show adheres to being able to do things like that. Like the Romeo and Juliet scene, they're already in a balcony, so they can't get next to each other. So Grace has been working on that with the actors, thinking that kind of stuff through. So it's still entertaining and engaging for the audience. But I don't even know, to our audiences listening today, I watch TV and everything so differently now. When people get close together, it's like, oh, when are we going to be able to do that again in, live? And we have to think that through, because I'm hoping that this is not the new world for theater forever, that we're not going to be able to get close together. But we do have to think about that kind of stuff right now.
Absolutely. Oh, so the last part of this question, and Grace, you touched on it briefly, was wondering if the expressions felt different with the actors to the screen.
Absolutely. Again, so much of acting is reacting, and that requires assessing and absorbing other people's emotions, and you can't really do that on a screen. So we've been substituting that a little bit by giving more specific and more saturated direction in terms of this is what this person is feeling right now, so you can help yourself get into the mindset of what your scene partner or the other character you're talking to is feeling. Something else we've been doing because we're on screen is we've taken the directing and the acting and kind of tailored it a little bit into like a film sense, because you can only see from shoulders up right now. I'm moving my hands, but you can't see it. So it's reminding them to move everything up here, and then also a huge emphasis on facial expressions. So something else we did, this is a really quick fun tidbit, is we've taken Zoom in our computers and actually made it into a 5th character. So if you saw in the beginning when they all hopped on, there was one character who flute. He was kind of like doty. He's like a little dopey, like out of all of them. And so he would get really close to the camera, and we had them come in from, like the side sometimes. So it's using those elements and those features that could be challenges and finding a way to flip them around and use them to our advantage.
I think it's super neat how you've all adapted so quickly and just the creativity that has come for this. So it's just really neat to see. So we have a couple comments. Great, really enjoyed this. Fun, thank you all so much. We have somebody who is clapping. Sean, this might be a question for you. Someone's wondering, how do you purchase t-shirts?
So our t-shirts actually, we had originally closed our t-shirt orders back on July 6th. Right now we're shipping them out. So once we have a better idea of what's left in our inventory, we'll have a better answer. But what I would recommend, let me see, maybe I can send this to you, Katie, is email me directly. My email address is mgmt, as in management, at shakespeareinDelawarePark.org. And if you send info to me, we'll have a better idea how many people are looking for shirts. Because if it's a large number, we'll see what we can do. Like I said, we're finalizing our first shipment.
For those who know, if somebody's asking, we have merchandise every summer. We have such fun merchandise and t-shirts and mugs and everything. And when this hit this summer, obviously we weren't going to do any sort of merchandise, and people kept reaching out. So we came up with this t-shirt idea, but we said, man, we can't just order 1 million t-shirts and hope people buy it. So we did pre-order only. And I think we ended up with almost 300 pre-order t-shirts that I won't show you the back of my room, but I have a mail room happening. But so many people have reached out after, and so does Sean, so many people have reached out after the fact. We think we're going to do a second order. So yes, if you do want a t-shirt, they're very fun. It's hard to, have fun with the pandemic, but we're trying, to lighten things up a little bit. And the t-shirt has a mask. Shakespeare's wearing a little mask. So yes, if you want a t-shirt, please reach out to us, and we're going to hopefully be doing a second order at the end of this week.
Awesome. And folks can respond to me since you have my email, and then I can pass along your information or give their emails to you, whatever's easiest. Just want to get your shirt if you're able to get it. So the next comment we have is totally amazing. Didn't know what to expect. Thank you. And the last question that I'm seeing anyways is, how will we be able to find out about the live performances?
Yes, please follow us on social media, whether it is Facebook or Instagram. Again, if you don't have, like, I'm one of the last people left in the world not on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, again, if you email Sean at what he said, mgmt@shakespeareanddelawarepark.org, we can also get you on our email list where we send out all of that. We send out an email blast with all of the things we're doing, because we've really been trying, as I said earlier, to keep engaged. We have a great guest artist series that's been going on, a music series, different things, and we don't want you to miss any of that. So please get on our email list. And again, we are hoping to be able to announce by the end of the week the live locations we'll be at. Again, we're only allowed right now to have 50 people per performance. So we're going to do reservations only, and I did the quote because we're still free. We do love donations, but the shows will remain free, but we will only be able to have 50 audience members at each live production.
Okay, thank you. Somebody's asking if you have a t-shirt handy to show what it looks like.
Yes, I do. Hold on. Oh, we're still going to get it first. See who gets it first. Can you see?
We can see it.
So it says, Shakespeare, it's our intermezzo season because it's not our official 45th. And then on the little sleeve, I don't know if you can see it too, it's got the, let me get it up to the Shakespeare and Delaware Park logo. I'll come back here. And it's the color, it's more of a purpley blue. I think sometimes on the Zoom it looks blue, but it's kind of a purpley blue. So
perfect.
There you go.
Well, thank you. All right. That's all the questions and comments I'm seeing. If you want to take a second, we can pause if anything else that's coming through. Otherwise, just so appreciative for the time from everybody here, for our partnership, for everything you're doing to keep us all engaged and active during this time. So, yeah, I think we can close curtain. Nothing else is coming through. Thank you again.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And
thank you.
Join us for social media stuff right now, and then hopefully we will all be able to be together again in person really soon.
I agree. All right. Thank you again for your time. Everyone enjoy the rest of their day.